Did you start it?
I started. I'm here. I just didn't put a little height because it's not a flattering height.
A bad angle.
It's not good height. Once you, I always tell the girls, once you hit 40, the camera lens should be a little higher than you. From above is better than from below. All right. We have the mic, and so we'll test it. If you can see it, okay. That's a big delay.
Yeah.
What did Heidi post? Because she just posted, and I'm curious to see if yeah. Let her know that we're on and that we're gonna try the mic out with you ladies and see if she can hear. Ah. So yeah, I have a feeling it's definitely the blacks because I've experienced it, and I guess just because I've been taking it for so long already, I've forgotten. Oh, like the chia?
Chia never bloated.
It didn't?
No.
But you've been doing it in smaller quantities. Yeah, your body will get used to it. But maybe to minimize that, you want to use less.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, I was using it in like a tablespoon, but then even a couple of them, it wasn't a full one when I did it, so I just used it a lot. It's just that's part of it.
Yeah, because is it in the morning? Right?
I'm doing it.
It's in the morning, right? On the diet. Yeah, so here you are starting your day off. You wake up with a nice flat tummy and bleh.
Well, that's the thing. I came terribly yesterday. I'm like, oh my god.
Why am I feeling
better?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Because I feel like, that can cause weight to come back. I've only lost a couple pounds to get back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just because it's making you retain water weight.
Yeah.
So please don't get caught up with the scale. Good. Are you feeling a difference?
In my clothes, right?
In your clothes? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Is Heidi on? Someone must be on us. Let's see if Heidi can hear you.
Hello, Heidi.
Hold on, let me get the mic. Ah! This is very sturdy. All right. Your glasses? Hi, Heidi. I hope you're on. And we're just getting started here. We have a few of the girls here, and we were just doing a little chit-chatting about phase 2. Did you start? You're still on phase 1. You're starting phase 2.
Yeah.
And Lisa has been on phase 2 now 3 days and was complaining of bloating. And we suspect it's probably from the flaxseed and not the half a piece of fruit because it's really not even that much. And the fact that you felt it yesterday morning when you came to Turbo, you had just had breakfast, that makes sense, especially since your body has not been exposed to it.
Right, okay.
So we can definitely cut back. Yeah. Heidi, your post today was it's
amazing.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Yes. Everyone is so inspired and so excited for you. And honestly, I wanted to cry. It's one of those things like, wow, how awesome that it's not even about, yeah, that's great that her weight and she lost, but the ability of the freedom and to spend more time with your family. And that's something that a lot of people don't even think of when choosing a lifestyle change. You do the diet and that's it, and you don't think of the ramifications of it. And here, so in the beginning, it might be overwhelming to be planning your meals and to be prepping them, but then the freedom it gives you when you're not doing that every single night. Like, think about dinner time before, where you used to start stressing about it mid-morning. Oh, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? If it were, I used to be that way. So definitely the freedom of spending more quality time is huge, huge, huge component in this. I know for me, it gives me the ability to juggle more and to do more stuff. But that might be a good thing or a bad thing, but I really feel like it is a good thing. I'm able to manage other things and do other stuff and not be so caught up on winging it. So that is definitely the number one thing is being prepared in order to give you more freedom. Oh, if my computer's charging, let me make sure. Oh, no wonder it has to be plugged in. Because I'm on red right now. So I'm a little out of it today, actually, just because I've been running around with my daughter. Lots of doctor's appointments. Yes. So any questions that you might have, Heidi, just go ahead and post them on the page, because Lorena is my sidekick tonight helping out. And so we're going to address any other issues that we might be having. I know I'm concerned because some of the girls have not been showing up. And I know Elizabeth posted that she's kind of falling off. She's crashing and burning. And I know that shit happens. And I guess for me, along the way, shit does happen. But I never get discouraged and just like totally throw it out the window. I just jump back on. Whether it's the next meal or whether it's the next day. I don't say, oh, screw it, let me just go back to my old ways, because that's not going to resolve anything. I mean, I think if anything that you take from this, when the time comes and this ends, and it's not going to end, first of all, you'll always have support, but is that, what are you going to go back to? And no, I don't want you to be perhaps obsessed with measuring everything and stuff like that. But just knowing that the simplicity, that it is so simple. And that's what I want you to take from all of this, is that it is so simple. And adding more ingredients and more chemicals, that it does, in the end, it's about the quality of the calories and not the quantity. You guys have any questions? We're going to test out our mic, by the way.
Well, I have some questions on phase 2, because I was good with phase 1.
Okay. Use a mic.
Oh.
You can do the microphone. Okay, phase 2.
So phase 2, just looking it over, I'm just curious too, like why there must be like a reason for the switching of something.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like the corn tortillas, is that like a must to do the corn tortillas, or can you still do the brown rice?
You can do the brown rice. You can do the brown rice tortillas. Absolutely. That was just an option that I threw out there for some people who like a little variety. People tend to be okay for like a week or two, and then that's why I threw it out there as something different in phase 2, because I noticed all the years of coaching that sometimes that's where I started to lose people. Not so much with my really healthy people, because we all eat the same 12 foods, whether you're healthy or unhealthy. And it's funny because the unhealthy people are like, oh my God, you're always eating chicken. And well, I could say, oh, you're always eating Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's. So, but they don't process it that way. So in the years of coaching, I've experienced that some of these people get tired of eating the same foods and don't really realize that they're already doing that anyway with their bad foods or bad habits. So that's why I changed it up a little bit. That's really why the brown rice tortilla or the corn tortillas, you can.
Monday, I was just looking at the Monday.
Yeah.
And the cabbage, like, is that, like, what do you do with that?
You can do the packaged cabbage that's already shredded, if you want the easier version instead of having to shred it yourself.
Like a salad.
I like to stuff it in like a taco, like a burrito type of thing. And if for some people, cabbage is a bloating factor.
That's another thing. I've never had cabbage.
Oh, okay.
It's very like normal. Like I
Okay.
buy a lot of different. So I kind of.
You're a creature of habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. And cabbage is fine. I love salad and stuff. I just never really.
Yeah. So.
I've had that.
Okay, so that might be a bloating factor too. Again, this is all for us to become more aware of what causes things and stuff like that, that awareness. What other questions do you have? I had, had I inserted on the Greek yogurt in phase 2?
That's what I was going to ask about.
Okay,
I don't like yogurt.
okay.
Always easy. This is a nighttime snack.
And for the bedtime snack? And for some of the girls, I was going to
I just don't like yogurt.
okay, then maybe you didn't get you got my original diet. I had changed it for this
Yeah,
group.
'cause I don't see corn. I think that she has.
Okay, so she has the original one, which is a lot cleaner. Um, I mean not a lot cleaner, because I did switch to the brown rice tortilla, but I had taken out the yogurt a while ago, and then I just put it back in for this group in order for people to see if they did have a dairy intolerance. Um, and I was suspicious for Donna. I was concerned for her, which I figured that the migraines were being caused by the dairy. So I was going to tell her to skip the dairy, and then maybe on the last week do it once or twice to see how she does. But I haven't heard from Donna. So Donna, if you're tuning in, to check up on you. So you don't like Greek yogurt?
No.
Do you like it?
I don't have any of it.
Okay.
I mean, I tried it the other night, and I have a spoonful. I just would rather have some but I know it's good for us.
Well, again, I mean, there's other. Do you have a dairy intolerance that you know of?
It's an intolerance. It could be. I mean, I don't really eat a lot of dairy.
Okay.
You know? It just can't really hit my stomach. So maybe I need to slightly.
Yeah. I mean, we all do. It's just a matter of recognizing it. Some people will continue to eat it, and they're just so
I'm just not a big cheese.
not aware. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you're dairy, or you're
I'm
gluten intolerant.
gluten, and I don't do really great with dairy. The most I have is a Greek yogurt, which I use like to mix into oat milk, and I haven't been doing that through this.
Okay.
And literally a splash of milk if I'm having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, something like that.
Okay.
That's
that's
the
it?
extent.
Okay.
I'm not a big cheese eater.
And are you mindful, like when you're eating something packaged, if it says, you know, if it's made with milk, or do you eat it like, say, for example, let's say you have a cookie, you don't check and see, because a lot of stuff you'd be surprised, right?
No.
That are and the other words used for milk, you know, the lactose, whey, all those other words that a lot of people don't assimilate with dairy. Just to be mindful that way. Has Heidi said anything?
No, the only thing that she said is that she didn't realize that about cabbage.
Oh, the bloating factor. Yeah.
So like, can I continue with like rice cake with peanut butter at night, or what would you suggest for the
Yeah, you can definitely go back to the rice cake and peanut butter. I know a lot of people miss it in phase 2. Because phase 2.
Something else that's good.
Yeah, phase 2 is definitely fewer in carbs, and the reason I did do that is because everybody's body is different. Some people tend to retain a little more water weight. You know, some women, for some reason, they just don't, you know, they just hold on to the carbs. You know, so that's why you see how some people do really well on low carb diets, but you still need a certain amount. So phase 1 definitely has more carbs. I take them out in phase 2. And it's funny, I'll have clients say, oh my gosh, I love phase 2 so much better. And it really just nips my cravings. So that tells me that carbs they trigger those cravings. And for some girls, they do better on phase 1, especially if they're having some sort of, not a chemical imbalance, but some sort of depression or type of energy flow where they need the extra carbs to keep them going. So I've noticed that everybody's different. I always thought at first that, oh man, everybody's going to lean out and look so much better on phase 2. That hasn't always been the case. So everybody's body is definitely different that way.
Going in the other direction.
No, but I think it's perhaps,
maybe it's just my body.
I think it's the fiber, honestly, and the bloating. Now, bowel movements, let's talk poop. Are you going? Are you guys going?
Yeah, the past couple days I was.
You have not. Oh, so no wonder you're feeling.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a
Yeah. That fiber is very binding at times. Yeah. What's that?
That's frustrating.
It is frustrating. You have to go because it makes you just like.
But it's funny, flax seeds for me, like especially not the seeds, the oil. I always found that oil works better for me.
I found oil works better for me too.
Yeah, 'cause I have to.
And it really made me go to the bathroom.
The flax oil versus the seeds. And so for some people just can't digest seeds. You know, my grandmother always had.
It gets stuck
My
in
grandmother
the
has
body.
had diverticulitis, diverticulitis.
Yes.
Is that how you say it in English? And so she had a hard time digesting nuts and seeds and stuff like that.
Because I've also kind of found it's not so much in that regard.
Oh, so perhaps we need to make a switch.
Maybe
Because the oil, I mean, I feel that the body would absorb better.
Well, it makes it. It's like it works like WD-40. So
there you go.
it cleans out your pipes. It cleans out your pipes.
Okay.
So until you do that, maybe even switch to coconut oil. Even just switch to coconut oil. I think you would get the same effect. Right? A lubricant,
Oh,
perhaps, to get you going.
Keep it in the
Chicken and
kitchen.
stuff.
Keep it in the bedroom.
It's great for everything.
For everything.
Yes, it really
I
is.
have coconut oil, like the cooking.
Okay,
So,
so you can put it in your oatmeal in the morning.
just do that. Yeah.
And let's see if it makes you go.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's,
The same amount.
yeah. You need to go.
Mhm.
That's, yeah, absolutely. That's so important. Heidi, are you going? Are you pooping? Is she on? No, okay.
The flax oil, is that, do you drink it? Do you mix it in with something? What do you do with it?
Oh, you mix it. I like to mix it, because it has like a little, it's, what was it called? Udo's oil? Udo's,
Udo's oil is different.
yeah, but it has omega-369s. Yeah. It's got like a nutty taste to it. I like to put it in my brown rice. But yeah, you can, mix it in your brown rice or stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Whole Foods have flavored ones.
Yes, they do. Actually, we have a flavored one back here
They used to have the banana, it was like,
by Barlene's. Oh, really?
yeah. But I don't know if they have it anymore. I used to buy it here, but they stopped carrying that. But they have,
Mechanical chocolate oil.
yeah, but they have banana, they have cinnamon, they have blueberry.
Yep. I know that like orange and yeah,
Oh,
different flavors. So, yeah, that should work.
Okay.
So meal prepping is going well.
The last 2 days have been so frustrating because it's almost like you get to that point. It's frustrating in the beginning when you're trying to wrap your head around it. And then once I do, like I got to, I really love that and counted on it. Because like every day I wake up, go and put it in my lunch bag, come out the door, come home, I know there's something there.
Yep.
And it was like so simple. And because of work, I worked the election yesterday. So I was there from 6:30 in the morning until 9 at night. And I did bring some things with me, as much as I could, but there was no refrigeration, so I was really limited. Like I brought an ice pack, but I didn't trust bringing too much
Yeah.
perishable. And I didn't like go off the wagon, so to speak, but I couldn't, because of the work,
Yeah.
couldn't eat and drink the water the way that I've been doing. And I almost got like, and then the same thing, I had to go to a conference all day today, and the same thing, like, I was just dying for water, and the last room I was in there for an hour and a half, and they didn't refill the water things, and I was like, I can't believe I have to go an hour and a half without any water.
Without drinking
It
water.
was like real, like I was just getting like angry, because like, I have a plan. It's like, they're messing up my plan, because it's going well. So that was kind of frustrating, and just because of work too, like, haven't been able to exercise as much as I want.
Okay.
Not because I don't want to, but because of my hours. Like,
Yeah. So it's a combination of
Yeah.
being out of your usual total routine.
But one of the coolest things I have to say is that I didn't feel as though I was eating a lot of sugar. No, I didn't eat like candy or anything like that. But I must have been eating way more than I thought, because now that I've gotten past like that first week of wanting like the fruit and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I have like no sugar cravings at all, which is, I don't think I've ever in my life had no
Sugar,
sugar
yeah.
cravings at all. I just, and it's really neat. It's like I'll open the cabinet and look at something that was like always kind of one of those things, like I can use this anything
And you're-
like that,
Yeah.
and it's like I'll look at it and go, mm-mm. like just not even saying a peanut.
Yeah.
I just don't even want to.
It's a great feeling to
it's
be able to
not
pass.
even-
You could pass a tray of dessert to the next person.
Oh,
I know.
absolutely.
And not even, and people are like, oh my God, how do you do that? It's amazing when you finally get that
Yeah.
poison out of your body.
My little rice cake with some almond butter on it is like, it is the best dessert ever. So, good.
It really is interesting how sugar is such a trigger. When we went to go see Fed Up last week, I really wish that we could, I could get a bootleg copy of it and have all of us sit and watch it, because it really is incredible, the addiction that we all have to sugar. And mind you, it doesn't even have to be like in a dessert form, and just how it's hidden in so many foods and you don't even realize the triggers. And that's also the only way, eating single ingredient foods, that we could eat it and not have to worry that they pump sugar in it or something else in it. And then once you get it out, how the mental clarity that comes with it, and just the energy stabilizing, it's really powerful. It's really powerful, because usually we'd be like, oh, I need a piece of something, to get me my energy up. When you don't realize that that's what's making you like an EKG chart, and that is exhausting on the adrenals. It just causes so much fatigue, and we're thinking we're doing something good when it's actually making it worse. And so to have to like, wow, this is what it's supposed to feel like, not feeling jittery and the cravings, or they were talking about what was it with the rats that were on crack cocaine, and they had them in a cage with sugar water and with like crack cocaine water. The rats preferred the sugar water. That's how addictive it was. Is that insane?
It has the same effect as sugar.
It has the same effect.
As cocaine. It's the same effect.
It lights up the same parts of the brain. Exactly the same. Yeah. Talk about crazy. And then was it in the United Nations? They have a group that was back, was it in the 60s, when they were determining how much sugar you should have in your daily diet, and they had said originally first at 5%, and all the food production people just went like, no, So of course the whole conspiracy behind it, they were able to make them erase that part on the law and actually change it to 20%.
If you don't even see it, if you notice, I never noticed that myself before. If you go on the nutrition label and you look at in the percentage, there's a percentage on the side, but it doesn't say a percentage of the sugar.
Yeah. Actually, I have, because I did a little, I'll be right back.
Heidi says, yes, all systems are going.
Oh,
Oh God.
Yay.
So I was doing a presentation yesterday with the Girl Scouts.
I saw that online.
Yeah, and I had the sodas and stuff like that. The usual like suspects, like 7-Up has 16 teaspoons of sugar in it. That A&W root beer had like 19. Gatorade had 8, and this one, which is Naked, which everybody thinks, oh, it's healthy. It's got protein is the first thing on there. 30 grams of protein. No sugar added, which is a big like, ooh, this must be really good for you. So it does have 2 servings. And so, of course, 1 serving is 16 grams of protein.
Oh, of course.
So they're telling you it's 30 grams. Well, yeah, you got to drink the whole thing to get the 30 grams of. So 1 serving is 28 grams of sugar.
Oh, no, they didn't add sugar.
But they didn't add sugar. Exactly. Why? Because it has apple juice, banana puree. Think about how high in sugars bananas are. Orange juice, pineapple juice.
All the sweet ones.
Carbs. 34 grams of carbs in each serving. And who drinks half of these? No. They drink the whole thing. But yeah, and so then when it says the percentages of the daily requirements, under fat, it's 6%. Under cholesterol, it's 18%. Under sodium, it's 11% of your daily. Potassium, 25. Total carbs, 22. Fiber, 0. Well, I thought I had all this fruit in there. Well, no, yeah, because you're just getting the sugar water. You're not getting the fiber. And under sugars, there is no percentage. And you will see that in every label. They never put the daily percentage. They don't want you to know how much of the percentage, because this is probably like a day and a half's worth of sugar. Half of it. Half of this is a whole day's worth of sugar. Because I always say 25, stay under 25, and this is 28. So yeah, notice how deceiving it is, because they don't want you to know that this is actually about 120% of your daily worth.
What food is lower? What fruits are lower in sugar?
Usually berries and apples tend to be your low glycemic fruits that won't spike your sugars and stuff like that. Another visual too with the fed up. Remember with what happens when you do take in sugar, which I've always said, if you're not exercising, whether it's pre or post, keep your sugars at under 6 grams of sugar, because your body can't really digest and metabolize it all without making your pancreas go to work and produce insulin. And insulin is the fat producer. So anytime that you're taking in more than 6 grams of sugar, that insulin is being pumped into your body and storing it as fat. So really, it was a really cool visual how
Great visual, yeah.
the visual was just like, I'm never going to eat more than 3 grams at a time. But it's important to know that, because they also did with like the Oreos and the reduced fat Oreos. There was only a difference in 10 fewer calories in the reduced fat Oreos. So even though they were less fat, they were higher in sugar. And we were just like, I guess because we're surrounded by so many mindful people who are now so much more educated, I guess, in the world of nutrition. The movie was just mind-boggling. Like, we've got our work cut out for us. They were following 4 or 5 kids who were morbidly obese, all of them, and from different states, and each of them and their families, and how their families were trying to help them. And if you could see the food choices that these families were making in attempts to help their children, I was just like, oh my gosh, I learned that 6 years ago that was not like healthy. And to see that people are still doing that. And so basically what the movie was trying to get, they have many doctors and scientists, that it really isn't calories in, calories out. It may have been that way back before processed food came out, where you could control your weight, but it isn't that way anymore. And then one girl who was morbidly obese, who was actually getting heavier, this girl was exercising every single day, and she was counting her calories, but she was not choosing the right foods. So in her school cafeteria, which I didn't realize 80% of the nation's cafeterias have fast food, are sponsored by a fast food restaurant, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
But she said, yeah, Mondays it's Domino's, Tuesdays it's Wendy's, Wednesdays it's Taco Bell, and she knew exactly what day of the week was being served there. But she was counting her calories, but she would still have the burger and fries. And she was exercising every day. The scale was not going down. The scale was still going up, because she was still relying on these heavy processed foods. And the one boy who was a diabetic, and the mom, and then late night snack, he was eating cereal, the sugary cereal. I'm like, no! Like, everybody knows cereal is filled with carbs. But, it was just, the education is not there. It's just...
And also it's because people get so confused. All these cereal companies just, come out with cereals, healthy, low in fat, low
fortified.
The
whole grain.
If you are a layperson just getting into it, you're just going to buy those products and thinking that you're doing yourself a favor, but in the end,
oh yeah. And they also showed, what was it, before the 1950s, there really wasn't this craze of exercise, and the doctors are saying how actually they showed in history that people weren't really exercising. People were active because there wasn't TV and there weren't cell phones, so people were more active, but these like crazy workouts didn't exist. And since the beginning of gyms, they showed a diagram of, as gym membership has gone up, as people have more gym memberships, obesity has gone up.
So they justify.
Ice cream after.
And just thinking, Well, it should be the other way, though. So it really goes to show, though, it's not really calories in, calories out. It's what kind of foods are you putting in your body. And what was the one guy that when they asked him a question and he was speechless. He was first trying to defend his stance, and then he just became speechless and couldn't answer the question.
He's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
Because a lot of doctors decided, to boycott or something.
Yes, that's right. Some law. Yeah. And this guy obviously was being paid off by, was it Pepsi?
Paid off by food companies or Pepsi.
And he was still trying to justify how drinking Pepsi was fine. And they kept going at him. And at one point, he finally, but how can you say that? Well, and he finally was speechless. There was no answer. I couldn't believe that a guy actually sat down for the interview. Here you're getting paid off by Pepsi. It was hysterical. It was actually pretty comical to see. But it was just so eye-opening.
Ronald McDonald.
Ronald McDonald was educational, and he's teaching you, and how he's like a positive influence on our children.
It frightens my children. He always did.
They're afraid of clowns? Yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely very interesting to see how we've just been completely bombarded. And all of these food companies. Oh, the one about the dairy farmers. That was another one. How all of a sudden, dairy is being pushed on everyone, and how they're saying drink 3 glasses of milk every day, and it helps you with your bones and all of this. So when they started creating skim milk during the fat-free era, all of these farmers were left with, and they show the factories filled with fat, like milk fat. And they were going, what do we do with this? What do we do with all this milk fat? Well, why don't we just start pushing cheese and say that it's healthy and good for you? And cheese is what they said. And then that's how they started promoting that cheese is good for you and there's calcium in it. And
everything has cheese on it.
And everything has cheese on it. Yeah. So it was just really interesting how they just kept pumping. Oh, and what about, they tried comparing it with cigarette smoking, and they were saying how even with the commercials where they used to be on TV, the cigarette commercials, which I know they're still on in South America, because growing up in Puerto Rico, they still have cigarette commercials on TV and at the movie theater. And I know they don't do that here it's been a long time. But remember Fred Flintstone? They showed that cartoon of Fred and Wilma Flintstone smoking cigarettes, and they used to promote Winston or Marlboros, and how now, of course, they promote Fruity Pebbles. Yeah. So they went from one poison to another.
The vitamins.
The vitamin, yep. And so they just went from one to the other. And so they were thinking, well, maybe we'll be able to phase it out like we phased out the cigarette commercials. But big difference. You don't need to smoke to survive, and we need to eat.
It's just like, not just them, but celebrities.
Yes.
About, Beyonce promoting Pepsi.
Yeah. And they were saying, if Beyonce's promoting Pepsi, why can't she be promoting carrots, right? And they showed her with a carrot in her hand instead of the Pepsi.
That was Taylor Swift.
And Taylor Swift, too. Like, they could easily be promoting healthy foods, but of course you never see a commercial for broccoli unless it's, Green Giant, but you don't see that. You only see the packaged stuff. And so they're saying it could easily be used that way. We could have these celebrities spin it and do it in a positive way instead of promoting toxic beverages. Well, yeah, what money are they going to get by promoting carrots? Where's the kickback on that?
I don't know if they talked about it in there. I mean, I'm a huge believer that all of these things are controlled by the drug companies.
Oh, yes.
And
they did talk about the conspiracies.
The whole conspiracy with that, I 100% believe that. And, they're creating drugs that they know have side effects, that they can create a drug to work on the side effects. And it's the same with obesity. There's more money in obesity than
absolutely.
People being healthy. Exactly. So the drug companies own all of the food companies.
Yes.
So it's just like they're just pumping stuff.
Oh, but it just makes you sick.
It's disgusting. Weren't there also companies investing in stocks?
Oh, yes. Health insurance companies buying stock in Coke and Pepsi. They have proof of health insurance companies buying stock in Coke and Pepsi. Really?
It's like, do you really think they're gonna come up with a solution to fix all these diseases?
And
And-
they're trying to make.
No, they're a part of it, yeah.
Heidi said Pepsi was sued over lying about a nutrition label on Naked. Pepsi owns.
Yeah, Pepsi does own Naked
And a lot of other.
and Odwalla, even Odwalla, which was supposed to be Odwalla, I think is owned by one of, I don't know which company, but they also are yeah, interesting. Like, and you know, Jenny Craig is owned by Nestle. I mean, it can go on and on about how ridiculous it all is.
The conference that I was at all day today was for the National chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. And so we had breakout sessions, and a lot of physicians and neurologists and, you know, all kinds of professionals were there. One of the ones I went to was a nutrition and how nutrition affects your cognitive abilities.
Oh.
And this physician that was running the session was talking about the beginning of your brain from the time you're born, and you have only so many brain cells, and you don't produce any more brain cells. You have what you have.
That's right.
But the big thing he kept stressing was that the sugar is messing up people's brain cells. Like the food you're putting into your body, the sugars you're putting into your body, and it's like you're hearing it more, so that's encouraging.
It is.
Like there's people that are actually coming out and speaking.
It is encouraging, yeah.
Saying how that you know, like if you want if you're already having good cognitive ability, you can diagnose with mild cognitive problems or whatever. That you know, the first thing you should do is change your diet. Change your diet and reduce the sugar as much as you possibly can. You know.
Oh, definitely. Mental health is another one. Mental health. I mean, I know with my 4 ADHD kids, and one of them was bipolar. And I can speak freely about this. It's Chandler, who takes Abilify, and when she was eating clean for her contest, those were the best 10 weeks. Like, she was on her A game and doing great, and you know, with cheer and in school and this, and then the moment the contest ended and she went back, and at first I was like, okay, she needs to go back a little bit to find that happy medium, but she swung the pendulum the other way. Well, it led into her having a manic episode a few weeks ago, and the unraveling of it, just to see it in front of me, how sugar played a huge role in this manic episode that she had, that she lived on in our homes for about 10 days. And she couldn't see it because when you're in that episode, you can't. So it wasn't until now that she's finally out of it. And I go, do you remember? And unfortunately, they don't remember a lot of what happens. It's just like, shh. But she does say, I can definitely feel the difference when I was eating clean and preparing for the contest, how I was more on top of my game. And now everything is a struggle. You know, I get easily overwhelmed, and I have an anxiety attack if I have to do, you know, 2 homework assignments, and talk about that contributing to mental illness. And how much is that being treated? You know, because every time I've taken her to a therapist, not once do they ever ask, you know, what's your diet like? Nothing. And that's really a shame, because that should be the first question. Even now, so they found a lot of protein in her urine. So they're thinking it's proteinuria and all this stuff. And I'm taking her to all these doctors. Not once has any of them asked, what's your diet like? And I'm just shocked. But then again, when you think about it, med school, like, I believe nutrition is only an elective in med school. And only 5 to 10% choose to take it. So, yeah, again, the drug companies paying them off. So, if there's ever a lesson to be learned, I think it's just, you know, as we move forward, it's, you know, obviously, you know, you guys are becoming more mindful of what your body likes and doesn't like, and not really focusing so much on like, oh my gosh, well, I feel like I'm, perhaps the fact that you don't feel you're making progress is actually a time where where you learn more about your body and stuff like that. And I think that's important. There's always a lesson to be learned, even when the scale is not showing the progress. And I always say, yeah, you know, It's great that you're losing some weight, but are you really, really becoming more mindful of how food is affecting your body, your health, and your mood? And that's, I think, a bigger lesson in the end. Because at the end of the day, when Lisa McDonald passes away, no one's going to say, and she weighed 120 pounds. Who gives a rat's ass? You know? And yet that's the one thing we focus on every day.
For the children,
And it's like,
especially women.
yeah, and it's like, no, what were your accomplishments in life? You know? I think that's such a bigger thing.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I'm here to help you
Yeah.
achieve
Right. I know it's more of so much
goals and stuff like that.
I mean, like I said, I was feeling
You were feeling,
great, and like I said, the scale didn't. I don't really blame myself that much, but I was just kind of serious because I was like, oh, my food feel better.
fitting, yeah.
And it was only a couple of pounds, but then, like you said, when you feel good, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. So now we know that Lisa's body doesn't like a certain, it needs oils, not seeds.
The two guests. Like
Well,
gassy.
which you already kind of knew that the seeds or nuts you don't really digest very well.
I mean, I love I like nuts.
Yeah, but that
I've
doesn't
never
mean that your
eaten-
digestive system likes them.
Right. I've never really eaten a ton of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that we're doing it
Is there something, I mean,
continuously.
It's the benefits of flaxseed is just,
Well, because it's an omega-3, but you can do the oil and still get the benefits
okay.
of an omega-3.
Mhm.
Avocado, substitute it with an
Is
avocado.
that the same omega-3 that's in fish oil as well?
Yes. Yes.
It's like an avocado a lot, and I never had it
Oh,
before.
that's right.
So you love it?
I love it.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Oh, we've turned her into a
Very
guac
versatile,
junkie now.
I mean, it's just, I mean, I just nothing on. I just like.
Oh, I know. Just spread on chicken.
Yeah.
Yep. That's like the best sandwich spread.
Oh.
I open it.
Yeah.
That's a good
Better-
sandwich.
yeah.
Food, but
Better
I
than
mean,
mayo.
yeah.
Half of my sweet potato,
Yeah.
and I mash it and spread it on the tortilla, and then put some chicken between. And
Oh, look at
I
that.
use the just with a little cinnamon and the chicken and the sweet potato. I've never done that in my life. I'm like, I'm getting creative here.
Well, and that's the
Like
thing.
Chicken and sweet potato, it's so good together.
Oh, yes.
Out of
It is. It is delicious. Who knew, right? That two ingredients thrown together. When we left fed up the other night, I said, Lorena pulls out, she had left it in the car, and she pulled out her chicken and rice cakes.
Yeah.
And it was her, late night snack. But yeah, why?
Avocado, I think it was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Avocado,
On the rice cake with the
avocado
chicken.
and chicken.
Yeah.
Oh.
So who says it has to come out of a box? Or,
No, I know. It's just funny because my husband, like I said, he's not a good eater at all. He's just total sugar, like frosted cereal, like sugar cereal.
okay.
So he's been, since I've been trying, I haven't been pushing it on him, but he's been trying. And every time I make a meal, he's like, that looks really good. I said, see? Like, it doesn't have to be, just salad.
Yes. I think that's what people think. Diet food, they think bland,
Oh, you're
tasteless.
gonna have a salad? I'm like, actually, no, I'm eating less salad now
Yeah.
than I was before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always thought, oh, I have to be good today, I'm gonna have to I just don't have enough protein. too.
Correct.
So that-
For as much as you exercise,
Yeah,
because
I-
Lisa's very consistent with her
I
workouts.
I don't eat any beef anyway.
Okay.
It's just chicken fish, but I don't think I was eating enough protein because I'm eating way more than I was before.
Yeah.
At once I always just have salad.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like
Yeah.
that
So
is
you,
good, but I'm learning that I probably like,
most people don't, that we're definitely more over carbs
oh, I know.
and under protein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Heidi, you're quiet tonight. We have a few minutes left.
So like instead of the yogurt, like if I just do more chicken, I mean different.
Yeah,
protein,
anything, even
okay.
like some of my fitness competitors will have 3 ounces of hamburger patty because I try to encourage them to eat more beef, especially on leg day or the night before leg day, or maybe some scrambled egg whites with salsa, or maybe you want,
Yeah, those
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Maybe I can-
That way I don't want you to gag on Greek yogurt.
And I had bought it a while ago, and I just put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's expired. Oh well, I have to throw it away.
Some people love it or gag on it.
And the phase here, are they here? The guy, or you just like email them?
No, I put it on it's downloadable
Oh, okay.
on the page.
Okay.
Yeah, you can look at it. Any other questions?
there was phase 2, like after working out. Like I don't do like the midnight snack to have fat in it. Yes, I do like the mid-afternoon snack.
You can flip it, or you can just move that fat elsewhere. Yep.
Okay. So that's another thing I was doing now, I think. I was
Yeah, the pre and post workout. Yeah, a lot of people do. They'll grab a handful of almonds after a workout, and I'm like, oh, stay away from fat post workout.
I always have an apple, but then I'd have like peanut butter.
Yeah.
Or almond, but that's what I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
No, again, it's
Yeah, I always say, your pre and post workout meals are not negotiable. You eat them because you're working out. And, like, oh, but do I really have to, if you're going to work out, yeah, that's the rule. It's fats, carbs, and proteins pre-workout, and carbs and protein post-workout. No fats. And you want to make progress, you want to lean out, you want to build muscle, you want to feed your body, you want to keep cortisol away. That's how you play the game. Mm-hmm. And then your other 4 meals, you can do whatever you want. But when people are trying to, when they're just starting and they're chasing their tail in the gym every single day and not getting any results, I mean, there are people who would come to my turbo class at 6 o'clock at night, having had lunch, and go to bed on an empty stomach thinking, oh, fewer calories. And then every week, and then, months later, they're like, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. Well, let's see. I wonder, cortisol is like screaming through your body.
That's the other thing I've noticed when you told a story about, it might have even been one of the other nutrition classes, it was one of the first ones I came into, and you were talking about eating and like keeping, fueling your body and all of that, and you were saying how you're talking about people eating in the morning and so trying to like hold off as long as you can or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've always woken up like feeling almost queasy in the morning, like
not wanting.
Because I can't put food in my mouth. I remember you telling the story about your trainer saying, let me know
when it happened to me.
And it's been like probably the last like week or so that I'll wake up in the morning and I'm not nauseous.
Okay, that's a good sign then.
It's like I actually can eat. In fact, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have just like, I'll put like something a little, like maybe half a teaspoon of like peanut butter or something like just in my mouth at like 7 when I'm getting myself ready. Then go to work and eat like the rest of my breakfast.
Okay.
Because I can't time in the morning to eat that. But that is a switch. So I imagine that has something to do with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that fire is definitely going. Yeah, for me, it took me 3 or 4 months before I was able to tell, hey, Rocky, actually starting. And he told me, he goes, you let me know when you start to wake up hungry, because that'll tell me that your metabolism is starting to work for you instead of against you. And for him, he said that was always a telltale sign for him when he heard his clients waking up hungry. Because, yeah, most people,
right?
That's a very good thing. I jump out of bed. I can't wait to eat.
But I mean, like, I'm not hungry in the morning. I'm not like,
Oh, yeah. They'll just drink a cup of coffee and nurse coffee all morning.
Gone to the gym.
Yeah. And they're thinking they're doing great.
Yeah. Now that
I
I know all
the
this
programs. It's a total program thing.
Yeah.
Programs. I mean, when I was like 12 or 13, and I wasn't obese or anything, but I can remember my mother dragging me to Gloria Stevens. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yes.
Gloria Stevens used to be like
an exercise place, yeah.
And it's, and yeah, you're not supposed to be eating, and
yeah.
You have like a half a break from
yeah.
Oh, I've done that.
So great. At least I was being hungry. It's so normal. It's so natural, right?
Yeah.
Hungry. Like, oh my God, I don't want to be hungry.
Why am I hungry?
The best flavor.
You're like, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're bad because you're hungry.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We're another tool is to learn that this is about nourishing, and eating is good for you. It's a good thing. And I think, I don't know where it got to the point where eating was, supposed to be like it's a punishment. And I was, oh my God, I shouldn't be eating this, and I shouldn't be eating this. And it became a guilt thing when it shouldn't be. Eating is nourishment. It's not a guilt factor. And the treat meals are going well. You guys are enjoying your treat meals?
I don't go.
You don't go too crazy? No?
Yeah.
You, Lisa?
No.
You're not going crazy?
I didn't really have a meal yet. That's what I did.
Okay. Well, I think it's important.
But I didn't have a meal, that's the thing, I had a very busy weekend with my first Jesse Feather.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And Jesse Hospital on the thing, so I was, that's another thing, is I didn't get to eat my snacks, I was literally, running from one to the next, and we were, an hour break between, so that night I'm like, I'm gonna have something, but I didn't have, a good, but I felt not as good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have as much food, but then I'm like, well, this is
Making up for the calories.
making up, but then I'm like, that's kind of bad, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went to Canary because there's nothing else around.
Okay.
So we have-
Well, now that their hidden menu isn't hidden anymore, their Panera
Right.
hidden menu, it's not hidden
So
anymore.
it's
So
okay to find something.
there's like the Power Bowl with the chicken and hummus
Yeah,
and
yeah.
spinach,
Yep.
and they also have those Power Breakfast bowls too, which are really clean. Just
Yeah,
don't eat
so
the bread
as
roll.
much as
But
we can eat that.
yeah, but it's important to have that treat meal.
Right.
Just not just psychologically, not just because you don't want to feel deprived throughout the week, but it just for your metabolism. It's just important one day of the week to really increase your calories.
And it's better just to have it all at once.
Yes. Yes, do it all at once and get it over with. And then if it happens to be in the morning or in the middle afternoon, you keep having your other meals too,
Okay, so-
which a lot of people are like, but I'm not hungry. And I'm like, I know, but you got to get back on the wagon. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't have like a full meal, like a fruit meal. I just
Okay. Twice. All right. Well, this week I want pictures of treat meals.
had, okay.
We had 3 baked chicken wings.
3 baked chicken wings. That's not a treat meal.
Yeah,
You guys are pathetic.
We went to, this was
I'm like, I'm afraid to post mine.
Me too.
Well, the first week I had like chicken parm, and I haven't had chicken parm in years. You know,
Well-
it was delicious.
Lorena, you and I, we're gonna post some treat meals this
I mean,
weekend.
but it
Let
was
me
so
show you what a
good.
treat
We're
meal
gonna
is.
show you what
It
a
was
treat
so
meal
fun
is.
to eat it.
And we're gonna show video, because then people are like, oh, I bet she didn't really eat it. Like, oh, I'm gonna put video.
You lay it down and stuff.
I'm going to a cookout this weekend.
Okay.
I'll probably have some, but it's also with the gluten-free thing. It's like a more limited.
So you're limited
when I go
too.
places, 'cause I can't have a chicken parm.
So she's a gluten-free
Yeah.
cake.
But no, there was barbecue sauce on it.
Which you have to be careful with the gluten too, right?
Well, it
Because
was a
gluten.
gluten-free meal from British Pita Company.
Oh, okay.
And they have if
They
you
have
get
a-
it gluten-free.
They do. That's what I heard. I haven't been there, but I heard it. They do.
And so they bake it instead of
Okay.
frying them, which is better anyway.
Yeah, I bet it
And,
tastes good.
So they baked it with the gluten-free barbecue sauce.
Oh.
So we got an appetizer, which was a good.
Lame.
I'm like, whoa, way out of control. Yeah. But the first week I had like about 4 ounces. I didn't have the whole meal. I just ate my regular food. But we did a long hike, and I had 4 ounces of watermelon sorbet.
Oh, okay.
So that was
Little
my
something.
big.
That was your big.
All
All right. You guys need to show off something good this weekend,
All right.
especially at the holiday weekend, right?
I'll probably get sick after we eat it.
Well, at least like pretend like this is
Yeah.
what I would eat.
The first meal I had was like a set of coffee. And I didn't really feel sick after. I
Okay.
thought, like, wow, that was good. But then I was satisfied, and then when I started flying, it was just starting off again.
Okay. Well, that's good.
The past couple of
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you guys to
Like,
eat something that's gonna make you sick
Yeah.
either.
there's something-
But at least, yeah. What's your kind of treat meal? Mine's Mexican.
Yeah, something. Look, you add the cheese or no?
I don't do the cheese, but I will definitely do like tacos al pastor, the shredded beef, and I put the cabbage and
No, I
all
always
the salsa.
think about when it comes to like a cheese meal. I always thought of like a burger.
Yes, a
Nice
bar
juicy
burger. Yes, I love
Not
a
like
good burger.
McDonald's and
No,
No, if I'm gonna have a burger,
real thick
even if it's
burger.
$12,
Yeah.
I want a good bar
And
burger.
like some French fries, and it always has
Fries.
And
And you have to have a drink, of course.
a drink.
You have to have some alcohol. Which you will realize as you become cleaner, you become a cheap date. The more, like, you just need one drink, and you're like, loopy because it doesn't take much when you're so detoxified.
Do they have dessert?
Yeah,
Or is it just a,
No, yeah, they can have a dessert.
yeah, dessert and ice cream or something? I really can't.
Back in my day, yeah, that was
Today,
big
the
one.
biggest thing to me, like, for, when I call it and crave for sweets, is just dark chocolate almonds has been my thing for.
Yes, dark chocolate covered almonds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I used to have the coffee lovers from what's that ice cream place? Oh my gosh.
Same thing.
No, the Stone.
So
Coffee, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Cold Stone.
Cold Stone. It was the coffee lover one, and I would get. I love coffee. I just and I would go get the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? That was when I was still kind of obsessive about my food. This was before I really realized like what it does. I was doing it when I was a fitness competitor. So I remember the guy from Cold Stone, and I said, I can't come here for a while until after my contest. He goes, it'll be on the house as long as you let me watch you eat it. Like,
okay.
you sicko. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely that difference between eating your cheat meal and being more mindful of it, because now we know how it makes us feel, versus when you're a fitness competitor, you're not doing it. You're doing it for the purpose of your physique. You're not doing it for your health. Big difference. Big difference. Oh yeah, because when I first started this journey as a fitness competitor, and I remember I used to be a fitness model for QVC when I lived in New Jersey. So every time Shalene Johnson and Turbo kicked, when it was Turbo Jam, they would come out from the West Coast to do QVC, and you do a live shot for half an hour, and then 12 hours later. So they would hire me along with some other Turbo girls. And I would have to drive about an hour to the QVC offices. And on my drive home, so I'd be dieting the whole time. On my drive home, I would stop on the Pike. It was the McDonald's fries, and then I'd go across the street to the Burger King Whopper with cheese. And then I would go to Cinnabon and get the giant.
Oh my God.
Driving back home. And I remember, and there was the Cinnabon that would be the last thing. And of course, I'm driving home and eating Cinnabon. You know how sticky they are. And I remember being at a stoplight, and I had gotten on the steering wheel. Licking the steering wheel, and the guy next to me gasps, what the hell is she doing?
Oh my God.
That's when I realized I had a problem. Yeah. Can't waste it.
Yeah, can't waste.
No, that's a can't wait.
You were
Oh my God. By the time I would get home, it was an hour. It would take me an hour to get home from QVC headquarters. I would go straight to the bathroom and it would all go right through me. It would all go right through me. But back then, I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, what is this doing to my body? I was just like, oh my God, it's my one cheat. I have to do it, and I have 1 hour, and this is it.
I'm making that too.
I would never do that. In fact, now I'd probably have one of Lorena's cakes, and, something that's like.
Yeah, after a while, you kind of become
You become a food snob. You get picky.
And picky. Like, okay, I'm not going to waste
on a freaking McDonald's.
McDonald's burger, you know what I mean? I'm going to go have a real nice.
Yeah, I was back in my junk food days.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, that's me. My confession for this evening. Please do not repeat.
That is a visual.
I feel like peanut M&Ms, and I used to say you ate those after peanut M&Ms.
At fitness shows,
Yeah.
yes, right. As we're pumping up,
Yeah.
yes, because the sugar, you have to time it
Mm-hmm.
properly. So when the runners, they're the ones who get you in line right before you go on stage. They'll give you like a 20-minute notice, and that's when everybody goes and grabs their chocolate and their wine. And so you want the sugar to be pulled into your muscles, and then you're pumping, you're doing push-ups, and then it gets everything pumped up. And you know how alcohol will make you very veiny, especially red wine. So when you're doing figure, you don't want to do this for bikini, but for figure, you want to get really veiny and really cut up. And so, yeah, the peanut M&Ms, which is sort of the chocolate, and then the combination with the wine. And that's why everybody in a bodybuilding show, you see them all jacked up. They don't look like that all the time.
Yeah.
They look like that for like 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Okay, I got some comments here from let's see. Sharon says, I put homemade guac on my turkey burger yesterday.
Homemade guac on turkey burger. Yummy.
loved it. It was so thin.
Yeah, that is yummy.
Heidi, thanks for recommending the grape nuts. I'm still serving out in the morning now. I noticed the grape nuts aren't gluten free. Is that okay?
Yeah, they're not gluten free. I mean, at this point now, what, week 3, they're not a problem. She can have them.
Are these recorded?
Yes, they are recorded. These are recorded, yeah.
Okay, Heidi. By the time the second cheat meal came around, I'm thinking my taste had changed because it wasn't as happy anymore.
Ah, yes. So
I have to do cheat meals as dinner, or I'm afraid the whole day will be a cheat day.
okay, that's a good one.
Yes.
Well,
That's
absolutely.
the same for me.
Same for me too. I admit I'd rather do my cheat at the end of the day because
Yeah.
yes, and then that's okay to do it. I do know that when I was journaling to see how food affected your mood, I remember doing a test. So starting my day out with like a donut, and then or with like a handful. I remember one day just saying, okay, breakfast is going to be a handful of Twizzlers. But I wanted to see how the sugar affected my body, and I was like a crack addict. I could not stay my whole day. It was looking for another sugar to sugar, and as much as I tried to go have something healthy, I would have that healthy, and then boom, I'd still have to have that sugar. So yeah, I do definitely agree with that. It's so much easier to have your cheat at the end of the day, and then jump back on the wagon. Less damage, I think, damage control than doing it first thing in the morning.
Heidi wants to see more pictures.
Yes.
Post more pictures. I need more ideas.
Okay.
Oh,
Heidi wants more pictures of food. So everybody, it's not that hard. You're prepping your meal. Quick. I know.
Karen says, so glad you're normal, just that.
I am normal.
And Heidi's last week's cheat meal. Chowder challenge. She had a chowder challenge with her company.
A chowder challenge? Oh my gosh.
She tasted the chowder of 11 different restaurants.
Oh, yum. But I can imagine those cream based. Did she have a stomach ache? Did you have a stomach ache from that? Oh my gosh. I mean, is she having one spoonful or is she having a Josette spoonful? Like, you guys don't realize.
I didn't taste that.
I'm a bottomless pit. I've always been a plato sin fondo. Bottomless bowl. I've always been that way. For me, like to get that message, the signal of being full, it takes a while. So in fitness shows, especially when we're really cutting our portions down, I learned how to knit to keep my hands busy and to pass time.
So no almonds after workouts. I didn't realize these were fats.
Yes.
Thought they were filled with protein.
Everybody thinks that nuts are protein. They are really, truly a source of fat. In the macro world, they're a source of fat more than a source of protein. Vegetarians like to think they're protein. You know, that's how they convince themselves. No, they're really a source of fat. They're really a source of fat. I mean, think about. Yes. Yeah, that half piece of fruit post-workout is great.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. That's perfect. I mean, think about it. If you were to eat the amount of almonds to get 20 grams of protein in almonds, how much fat would you be consuming? That's the reason why sometimes there's a lot of like overweight vegetarians or even paleo people who love to like nosh on that kind of stuff. They don't realize it. They don't understand why they're gaining weight on paleo diet. Oh, well, I'm not eating carbs anymore. Well, maybe your body needs the carbs, and you know, some people do really well on paleo because it's fewer carbs. So some people who don't have a problem with carbs, you know, physique-wise being lean, and then now all of a sudden you're cutting that out and you're adding all of this fat, and your body's going to react differently. You just never know. Any other questions? No? Did they hear us well with the microphone? Ask them. I hope that was Oh, go Lisa, go! You can do it. I go and go. In fact, Lisa should post a picture when she goes. Could you imagine? That'll be the day when we start seeing selfies of
In your comments, just write flush.
Yeah.
I flushed
so
today.
normal, though.
Oh,
It's
no.
weird. Like, why do you want to talk about poop so much?
It's so important.
And important.
It is. Like the
very
ones that leave
important.
tracks in the toilet, that definitely is a sign that you're having too much fat. When you're leaving the tracks in the toilet. It's skid marks, they call them. Yes, skid marks. On that note, but yeah, a lot of the story of your poop, I mean, tells the story of your diet, what's going on inside. It really does. You know, it should be banana shaped. Right?
All right.
You have some work to do.
I had a banana thing. We want a picture, Lisa. I want a picture. It can be hashtag flush. Let's make it a hashtag. We can go viral. Let's go viral on Instagram.
My butt still hurts.
Your butt still hurts from Dirty Dozen. I wish, Heidi, you could be here for my Dirty Dozen class because everyone is complaining about their butt being sore. And all I can say is, you're welcome.
The split one you were talking about, right?
The one with the, yeah, with that, your foot on the bench. Touch the ground. Yes, you're welcome. Good stuff. Bio didn't know. I'm sure it didn't. All right, guys. Buenas noches. I hope everyone's having their bedtime snack. Heidi, you're probably about to have dinner. It's like 5 o'clock over there. And I hope you're enjoying a nice evening with your daughter. And thanks for tuning in. Everybody, keep up the great work. Very proud. Proud mom.
Oh, okay.
Very
Thank
proud.
you.
Good night.